Testing, testing. Oh man, I'm having to do all this on browser. Not realizing that because I don't have a book that I can pop open. I don't like it. I'm gonna wait until somebody pops in though. But today is gonna be a narration stream, and something I've been wanting to do for even longer. I know I say that a lot, that I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but yeah, I have wanted to do this for a long time. I've wanted to do this before I even started streaming. In fact, this is one of the things that even motivated me to even consider doing anything on YouTube in the form of, content creation. I wanted to do this. I want to narrate creepypastas, and I don't think it's hard to guess who my inspiration for that was. Yeah, it was Mr. Creepypasta. He was, like, for a while, and I think even to this day, the most popular and well-known of the creepypasta narrators, and I think for a good long while, one of the best ones. I would still recommend Dark Somnium. He's pretty good too. But I was one of those many people inspired by him. Now, I know I'm probably going to fall into the same pitfalls as many others, like Creepypasta and the other names I don't remember, where their narration just doesn't hit anywhere near the same level of quality as MCP did. But I'm gonna try my best to fight against how monotonous my voice can be, which is very difficult because I thought I was doing a good job of it on the last narration stream, but it seems not. It seems I have to try even harder than that. It's not enough to like put in normal amount of voice. No, like my voice actively works against me on that, so like that's gonna be a problem. But nevertheless, it's something I'm gonna try to do and probably practice with on my own time. But for the time being, I hope anybody who is here listening will enjoy the narration. I think my pocket knife might be too tightened, but I'll probably deal with that later. Maybe now, because I'm still waiting for people to join. Like, no cap, I legit thought they were going to join, and the people were recommending. stuff to me, and now they're not here. But it's fine. I'm sure they're busy with something. Just gonna adjust a little something real quick, because I think... Okay, so the torque's 8. I think my pocket knife's pivot might be a little too loose. Very difficult finding a good level for that. Just a bit too loose and it wobbles around in place. Just a bit too tight and then it doesn't deploy at all. Well, it's at the same level as before, but I suppose I can afford to mess with that another time. Should probably get another set of bits so I can do something about the thumb stud as well. Because I want to customize that too. And customize the screws, but my knife model doesn't seem to have easily available aftermarket screws. Alrighty, I'm gonna give it another until the 10-minute mark, and then that's when I'll just get started. So for the time being, I guess I'll browse some Goon. Um, I really like it when artists drop truly knowledge sort of is fat. It's nice. Yeah, 10-minute mark, nobody's here. Well, this stinks. Alrighty. I'll just get started. Even if I'm alone, it's fine. I hope I won't have an issue with my lungs today, though. That goes off like stalling, but be right back. Okay. Hopefully it won't be an issue. Oh, one more thing. Gosh, there's just one thing after another with me, huh? Huh. Okay. Now my tail won't cover up chat. Alright. At the edge of our town, there's a shitty gas station that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you were to go inside, you'd see row after row of off-brand chips, cookies, potted meats, and pickled curiosities. I'm gonna read this from like the mood of somebody who actually works here, and they're probably not gonna be terribly excited about the place. So that's kind of what I'm channeling here. Expiration dates suspiciously missing from the canned goods, like they were filed off years ago in some misguided attempt to control inventory turnover. A faded wet floor sign from way back, covers a large crack in the foundation by the cooler where layers of sticky spill-off have formed a miniature tar pit, preserving countless insect courses and the occasional small rodent. Nobody ever complains about the aesthetic. By some providence bordering on the supernatural, the health inspector has repeatedly signed off on the business, always kindly, ignoring the faint smell of some kind of mysterious chemical cocktail that is the defining characteristic of the establishment. More noticeable than the steady mechanical hum of the frozen drink machine that was installed in the 70s and never once serviced. More distracting than the random pockets of cold and warm air that seem to follow you around. And more annoying than the family of mutated raccoons that lives in the crawl space behind the grease trap. We think they're mutated anyway. At the very least, they must be inbred to the point of genetic deformity and mental retardation. The alpha, a muscular 3-foot-tall son of a bitch named Rocco, has been spotted multiple times chewing on people's tires and has been run over at least twice, but keeps coming back. That lingering smell, a sweet combination of honeysuckle, ammonia, and vomit, has never been positively identified, but the prevalent theory is that it's coming from underground, wafting up through the thin fissures in the concrete. Alright, this is Tales from the Gas Station. Aren't I professional? From gasstationjack.com. Part 1, The Dark God. Yeah, aren't we off to a good start? I'm a professional streamer. Wafting up through the thin fissures in the concrete that grow and spread with each year of architectural settling. It's the strongest right after rain and pungent to the point of tear-inducing if you get too close to the storm drains where even Rocco and his clan refuse to tread. If you were to go inside, you might also see the bathroom cowboy. He's sort of an urban legend around here, only ever appearing when you're alone and unsuspecting. What makes him truly legendary are the stories people tell after an alleged encounter. The accounts run the gamut from pretty weird to impossibly bizarre. Like the guy last month who went for a pee but changed his mind when we saw him standing there next to the urinal, wearing a duster, bandana, boots, and chaps, handing out balloon animals. Or a couple of weeks later when another customer stepped into the same bathroom to see a man wearing nothing but a cowboy hat, boxers, and boots with spurs, literally grinding an axe on an old-fashioned stone sharpening wheel. When he entered, the cowboy stopped what he was doing, looked up with a smile and a tip of the hat, and said, "Come on, man. Come on with it. If you should be lucky enough, if you should be lucky enough to see the cowboy that may or may not haunt the bathroom, don't worry. He's harmless and in fact usually quite polite. Honestly, he doesn't seem so bad, especially compared to some of the other things going on in that place. When you go inside, you might instantly get a toothache. It's a strangely common phenomenon that nobody really understands. It should go away on its own after a couple of hours. If you do go inside, you will almost definitely see me sitting behind the counter, because I am the only full-time employee and I'm almost always here. You may catch me reading a book because for some reason the internet doesn't work way out here, and cell phone service is dicey on good days and non-existent on most. If you need to make a call, you can leave and go up the hill ways, preferably back towards town, because the other way will take you into the woods. And you don't even want me to go into all the reasons that's not a good idea. Or you can pay me 25 cents a minute and use the store's landline. That arrangement was cooked up by the owners, and I have to actually enforce it because they do check the phone records. I'm sorry. While you're here, don't be offended if I don't strike up a conversation, because if I'm being completely honest, I don't always know for sure if everyone who comes through those doors is real or not. And if I had to acknowledge everyone in that place that could be an actual person, I might lose my mind. And we don't need any more of that going on around here. I guess that the point I'm trying to make is this. Weird things happen to me. Working at the shitty gas station at the edge of town. I wish I could tell you the weirdest thing that's ever happened here, but I doubt I ever could But I doubt I could ever decide. There were just too many. I've seen a total of 4 coffins inside the store on 3 different occasions. I've met at least a dozen people wandering back into town from the woods claiming they had escaped aliens or government conspirators or the like, and that they had no money but needed to make a call, and could I please just let them use our store phone before they find them again. But rules are rules, and I'm not inclined to lose my job just because you didn't escape captivity with a little pocket change. And then, of course, there were Farmer Brown. Yeah, that's his real name. Who got mad at us and complained about the bulk feed we'd been ordering for him. He insisted something was wrong with the product because, as he put it, all of his animals suddenly had human faces. We settled with him by charging a significant discount on his next couple purchases. He stopped coming in not long after, and they found what was left of his body inside a bedroom at his farmhouse that had been locked from the inside. As far as I know, they still haven't figured that one out. Anyway, I guess I can come back and tell a story or two, but first I need to get ready for work. I think I remember, wasn't this the one that, like, has him in a time loop kind of thing? Oh, I'm so washed. I had one streamer, now I had none. I had one chat, now I had none. The Dark God, Part 2. At the edge of our town, there's a shitty gas station. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and sometimes longer. If you were to go inside, you would probably see the tired cashier sitting behind the front desk, doing his best to mind his own business. He's real. You may also see someone else. You may also see something else. If you're curious about the reality of anyone or anything, including yourself, inside that small ammonia-scented flickering fluorescent collection of off-brand junk food, dirt, 4 walls, and a roof, may recommend that you follow the cashier's lead and mind your own business. I've been working at that gas station almost non-stop since I graduated high school, and at this point I doubt I could quit if I wanted to. Not long, a doctor recommended that I start keeping a journal, and after some consideration, I decided I might as well give it a shot. It's not like any of the traditional treatments are having any effect, but enough about me. But let's get back to the interesting thing, the gas station. I spent a decent portion of my shift last night trying to decide how to begin this journal. Where can I start that would make any sense at all? How do I explain the gas station to someone who hasn't experienced it? I've tried telling some of my stories before, so I don't know what to expect. And people don't believe it, or people don't want to believe it. I still remember the difficulty I had last year when I had to call the sheriff's station and explain to the new girl that half of a pig had broken into the store and was running amok, breaking things and screaming with the voice of an old woman. Yes, I meant half of a pig. Yes, a pig. The front half. No, this isn't a joke. I'm at the gas station. What do you mean, which gas station? Is this your first day or something? Oh, it is? In that case, can I please talk to someone else? She finally put me through to Tom. He's the deputy that drew the short straw all those years ago, and ended up on official gas station duty. That was back before his hair had turned all white. He's been in enough times now that all I have to say when he picks up the line is, "It's half a pig. It won't stop screaming and I can't catch it." And then he grunts, mutters something about that being pretty freaking weird, and then drives out to help me catch it. Tom is a good guy. I asked around, but nobody knew where the pig had come from. Farmer Brown, who was still alive at the time, came down to take a look. Who was still alive at the time? It came down to take a look and provide his expert opinion. According to Farmer, the pig had somehow been chopped down the middle, but miraculously none of the important organs were hit. Nothing supernatural about it, just really unusual. It stayed at the local elementary school as a kind of mascot for the summer before a scientist and his team from somewhere up north offered the school $1,000 to let them take it. For science, I suppose. I don't mean to ramble, but my point is that it's hard to believe some of these stories if you haven't been inside the gas station at least once. And maybe you have. We're the only gas station for miles. We're close enough to some big crossroads. If you've ever been out driving in an unfamiliar part of the country and found yourself lost, it's not impossible that you could have found yourself at my doors, looking to top off your gas or ask for directions. If you have a strange memory of a weird place that doesn't seem to fit, then there's a chance we have actually met. It was late into my overnight shift when I decided to just start writing. I took notes about what was happening. I jotted down a few of my stranger memories, but consciously decided to leave out those stories that were so unbelievable that I won't even waste people's time with them. I call those the try and forget stories. I was writing it all down on a book of receipt paper when Carlos interrupted me. Yeah, I need acting practice. When Carlos interrupted me. And Carlos is one of the part-timers at the gas station. We have a pretty long list of part-time employees here. The owners like to hire transients, drifters, hitchhikers, passers-by, and runaways looking for work for a few days. I try not to get to know the part-timers. They come and go after a few days or sometimes a few weeks. Rarely long enough to form any kind of meaningful relationship. But then there's Carlos, who's been working here for almost a year now. He started as part of the prison work relief program, unloading trucks twice a week, and was the only one of the 12 prisoners that didn't disappear during a freak snowstorm last December. But that's none of my business. Carlos did his time, and when they released him, he came to work here, cleaning the store and unloading trucks. He comes in 6 times a day for each of his 30-minute shifts. 30 minutes? Now that I think about it, I'm not exactly sure what he does during those shifts. The store's never clean, and the trucks only come twice a week, exclusively during the daylight hours, as per an arrangement following the incident. Maybe one day I'll ask Carlos what he does for the owners. And all I know is that he's the closest thing to a friend that I have here. Oh, it's okay, Mato. I hope you're doing well today. Thank you for joining. I hope I wasn't imposing. Do you want me to start over from part 1? Or just continue? I'm in the middle of part 2 now. It depends. Are you going to private the stream? This one will not be privated. At least I won't. I hope I won't have to. It's not like a book where you have to deal with legality, or at least I don't think I have to deal with illegality. And go ahead with chapter 2. Alright, I don't know if I'm going to read all the way through part 8, but I'll try. I'll try and at least get to part 4. And then if I do this again another time, I'll read the last 4 chapters. But, you know, I do kind of want to keep it varied, and I know my reading speed is slower when I read out loud. So I do kind of want to get through your list of suggestions as well. And I definitely want to read the Godzilla Creepypasta. Ooh, and Abandoned by... Oh, these are some good ones, but like they're really long too. Though I'll definitely try and indulge. And I want to read Happy Puppet Syndrome, since that's a favorite of mine as well. When Carlos approached me in my register last night... Oh, and even if I do private the stream, I'd still share the link with you. When Carlos approached me at my register last night, I knew something unusual was going on. He was sweating bullets, pale, and on the verge of passing out. He kept glancing back at the man in the suit that had wandered into the store and was standing next to the frozen drink machine. He told me that he needed to talk. Now. I told him, go ahead, but he refused to say anything unless I followed him into the walk-in cooler. I usually hate to leave the front of the store unwatched. We have the occasional shoplifter. Plus there was that one time Rocco got in, made off with 2 cases of cigarettes. But Carlos seemed serious, so I made an exception for him. Once we were in the sub-freezing safety of the walk-in cooler, Carlos asked me if I'd seen the guy in the suit. I said, yes, I saw him. He asked if I knew the guy. I said, yes, I'd seen the guy around town. His name was Kiefer. He was running for some kind of office, I can't remember which one, and stopped by the gas station every now and then. He drove an old black SUV that only took premium. I didn't know him much from in town, but he was definitely local. His picture was framed in my high school's trophy case for one of those sports competitions he'd won years and years before I got there. We only have so many things to be proud of, I suppose. I knew of Kiefer, but we weren't exactly acquaintances. I told all this to Carlos, who shook his head and said, no, that can't be Kiefer. I said, why not? And Carlos told me, that can't be Kiefer because Kiefer has been dead for 2 days. His body is in the trunk of my car right now. And that's when things started getting weird. It was a very strange night. And between the hand plants, Farmer Jr., and that cultist that wouldn't leave me alone, I hardly had any time to collect my thoughts. And of course there was the Carlos situation. I promise I'll come back and I'll tell you all about it, but first I need to grab some coffee. Oh, I think I remember that the time loop one was actually the one on night duty or working security. But it was for a gas station. To be honest, it is a bit awkward to be dropped in the middle of the story, but that's... I mean, not really. I probably should have pinged you directly. I didn't I wasn't sure if that'd be necessary or not, so I don't want to bother you. Just set Author Lane to run some more. I'm running on a bowl of cereal. And one of those flavored cream cheese bars. So I'm hungry, but not that hungry enough to feel like I'm actually hungry, so it's okay. Continue reading. The Dark God, Part 3 by Jack Townsend. Dated March 23rd, 2020. And I think this is actually like relatively recent too. There are times when this world drifts so close to the fabric of reality that I can hear something calling me from beyond that veil. Sometimes when I get too close, I can feel that thing on the other side, tugging at the corners of my mind. I'm worried about Carlos. He doesn't seem to be taking this so well. In case you don't know, I work at the shitty gas station at the edge of our small town, and weird things have been happening for as long as I've been here. I finally started to tell some of my stories. Working on Hydrus while listening to Creepypastas is a vibe. I'm glad I can contribute to it, so thank you. When I returned to work after my post yesterday, I was delighted to find a stack of receipt papers sitting neatly on the register counter with notes written in my own shaky handwriting. Oh, and please let me know how the audio is, by the way. If anything's too loud or too quiet. I don't remember writing all of these notes, but then again, I don't remember a lot of things. He's literally me! Audio's good. Oh, okay. Good, thank you. Speaking of literally me, I watched Project Hail Mary yesterday, but I'll tell you about that later. I don't want to interrupt the story too much like I did with that other narration stream. But then again, I don't remember a lot of things. It is possible that I'm working too hard, or maybe the fumes coming from beneath the gas station are playing tricks on me. Or perhaps it's just another side effect of my condition. At any rate, I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth, or any other animal in any other orifice, for that matter. Admittedly, my handwriting isn't the best, and at times the scratches on the receipt paper become nearly illegible, so if anything herein seems unbelievable, it's probably because I copied it wrong. With that in mind, this is my best effort at a transcription. And please let me know how the performance is, because I know my voice is really monotone. I'm trying to push against that, but it's really hard, because my voice is seriously monotone. 7 o'clock. It's getting dark earlier these days. 7:30. Farmer Jr. came into the gas station tonight, asking about the hand plants. I told him they weren't there anymore. He left his phone number scribbled on the back of a coupon for 15% off bulk pig feed from an online retailer. I think he's trying to send me a message. Here's a test to go against the monotone. Yeah, that's the test indeed. Very big test that I do not seem to pass. Nine o'clock. Oh, this part ahead is gonna be monotone because, like, it's from. I'm trying to read it from his perspective, the perspective of the main character, who would probably be monotone since it's just work stuff. He seems bored about it. Try to laugh when saying a sentence. Try to say something angry saying a sentence. Kind of melancholic. You don't have to read it from the book. Okay. But monotone does fit the story. That it does. Honestly, I don't think this story is the best practice for that because, like, I mean, it is from the perspective of an employee. Perspective of an employee. But I will try that, thank you. I think some kids are playing a prank on me. I found a lawn gnome Ouija. Pretty much, yeah. I think some kids are playing a prank on me. I found a lawn gnome behind the pork rinds. I don't think much about it and put him in a box behind the counter. But then when I found another matching lawn gnome in the soda case, I added this one in the box as well. It wasn't until I noticed the third and fourth lawn gnomes that I started to suspect something. I had taken out the garbage and found the gnomes perched atop the branch of a tree next to the dumpster, staring down at me like gargoyles. I used a chair and broom to knock them down, and I put them in the box with the other three. When I got back to my desk, I found a note on my chair written in red ink. It simply says, "I'm in the walls." I don't know who wrote it, but the paper smells like oranges and plumeria. 10 o'clock. There's a strange scratching noise coming from the tiles above the cash register. I fear Rocco and his brood may have infiltrated the building again. 11. Farmer Jr. called the store. He asked about the hand plants. I assured him that they weren't there anymore, and if they ever showed up again, I would call him. I think he's beginning to suspect that I'm lying. 12 o'clock. One of the cultist recruits wandered from the community in the woods. I hate it when I call them cultists. I know the recruits aren't supposed to interact with the outside world, but from time to time they will sneak into town, never any further than this gas station, and buy cigarettes. They aren't supposed to try and recruit new members until they graduate to the honorable senior cultist status, but this one isn't a very good cultist. I know they aren't supposed to have names, but I'm going to call this one Marlboro. I'll let you guess why. Marlboro stayed in the store for at least half an hour, trying to convince me to go back to the compound with him. They hate it when I call their home a compound. He tried to appeal to my logical side, but I let him know politely but firmly that I was not interested in logic. I can't remember when he left. 2 o'clock. I found myself digging again. Sometimes on slow nights I let myself drift. My mind goes somewhere, and when I come to, I wonder, where was I now? Who was that controlling my body while I was gone? My body did those things I've done so many times before that I guess it's learned how to do them without me. My body restocked the cigarettes, my body rotated the frozen drink machine, my body scraped the mold off the bottoms of the ice buckets, my body emptied the rat traps, and somewhere along the way my body found a shovel, went out back, and started digging a hole. And actually, I shouldn't say my body started digging. I have been, or rather my body has been digging this hole off and on for the last few months. Usually come to after a few shovelfuls. This time I added another foot deep before I snapped back to reality and asked myself, what the heck am I doing? I just know 3:30. I just noticed a door at the end of the hallway past the walk-in cooler. How long have I worked here? Never noticed that door before. It seems disappointingly ordinary as far as doors go, except for the fact that it's warm to the touch and feels like it's vibrating. I tried the handle, but it's locked. When I got back to my register, I noticed a man in a trench coat standing outside beyond the gas pump. Just outside the reach of our lights. Dangerously close to the road. I can't tell if he's looking at me or if he's looking past the building at the woods on the other side. I wish he wouldn't stand there like that, stoic and still, with his arms reaching down past his knees. The scratching in the ceiling against the tiles in the ceiling over the counter is getting louder. 3:45. A man came into the store, rolling a large white ice chest behind him. He had sunken blue eyes, wiry hair coming from his nose and ears, long bony fingers and paper-thin skin revealing every blue and green vein beneath the translucent dermis. He wore a bowler cap and smelled like milk. I had definitely never seen him around before. He asked if we would be interested in partnering up with him. He sold ground meat at discount prices, but I told him that our store doesn't do well with the fresh foods category, recommending he try his hand in making jerky. Before he left, he scooped about a pound or so of raw ground meat from the ice chest onto a piece of parchment paper and gave it to me as a sample. Once he had left, I took the meat into the cooler, where I found another lawn gnome waiting for me. I put the gnome into the box with the other 7. 4 o'clock. Carlos just told me something very strange about Kiefer. 4:30. There's a kid named Spencer Middleton. Oh, Discord message. Oh. What is this Diddy Blood doing on his Hydrus? I like the internet browser though. Nice Samus images. I like them. That Ruby image is cute too. And some VTuber. Imagine. Bro, imagine. Or what kind of drama they got themselves into. 4:30. There was a kid named Spencer Middleton who went to the same high school as me and Kiefer. Spencer was just a year ahead of me, but looked much older and acted much younger. I live in a small town, and small towns get bored. For entertainment, some turn to gossip, some turn to more sinister pastimes. The latter often fueled the former. There were rumors around town that Spencer liked to torture and kill animals. Rumors that Spencer's parents and siblings always locked their bedroom doors when they went to sleep at night. The rumors didn't slow down any after the fire at Spencer's house, where Spencer was the only one to escape unscathed. I once saw Spencer gleefully stomp on a lizard, throw his head back, and laugh. Some short time after his house caught fire for the second time, Spencer left town. The story went that he had gone off and joined the army. I didn't know what to think about that, so I simply didn't think about that. I would have been perfectly happy to never think about that, but after all these years, I'm forced to. Because Spencer Middleton just came to the store and bought a cup of coffee. He's sitting in one of the booths, talking to Kiefer. Marlboro's back. He asked if I could spare him some time to talk about his fake religion. They hate it when I call it a fake religion. I told him to leave. He seemed upset. 4:45. Spencer and Kiefer sat around for a while and didn't buy anything but 2 cups of coffee. When they finally left, I let Carlos know. He'd been hiding under a blanket in the walk-in cooler, although I can't really understand why. Carlos explained to me exactly what happened. He finished his shift a couple nights ago, and had just left the gas station when he saw Kiefer's SUV pulled over in a ditch at the bottom of the hill. Carlos, being the good guy he is, decided to check and see if Kiefer needed any help. He says that when he pulled up and got out of the car, he could see what sounded like a loud crunching noise coming from just beyond the tree line. Carlos went to investigate. That's when he saw something. When I asked Carlos what he saw, he just started speaking Spanish in a fast, panicked sort of way. I don't speak Spanish, but I nodded along empathetically. The only word I could pick up was Jerega, which is the name of a liquor we carry. Whatever it was that Carlos saw, it made him race back to his car as fast as he could and back out quickly without looking. And that's when he ran over Kiefer. Carlos is a good guy, but here he was in a bad situation. He stopped long enough to get out, check on Kiefer, and confirm that he was definitely dead. There was nothing he could do that would change that fact. It was an accident. Carlos was on parole. There was that thing in the woods, and Carlos had to make a decision, so he heaved the body into the trunk of his car and drove off. Carlos took me to his car and showed me the body. I can confirm 100% that it was Kiefer in the trunk of his car. Not just because of his unmistakable face, but also because of his phone and wallet that were in his pockets. Oh, so it sounds like Carlos is trying to escape something. Carlos and Kiefer might have been trying to escape something. 5 o'clock. Finally got tired of the scratching and pulled our ladder out of storage to see what the raccoons were doing in the ceiling. But when I pushed back the tile, the only thing up there was another gnome. That makes 1 dozen so far. 6 o'clock. And the man in the trench coat is still outside. The cultist came back in, demanding an audience with me, insisting that if I would just listen to him, I would see that his reasoning is superb and flawless, and that I would be a fool not to join him in the perfection of logic and nirvana that is his belief structure. I agreed to listen to his pitch if he would agree to ask the man in the trench coat to leave. Our hasty verbal contract in place, I steeled myself to listen. Honestly, he did make a few good points, but I suppose that's to be expected from a viral thought experiment strong enough to convince perfectly normal people to abandon their lives and go live in a commune in the woods past the shitty gas station on the edge of town. They call themselves mathematists. They believe that humankind exists to fulfill two moral imperatives: to decrease suffering and to increase happiness. A successful life increases happiness more than suffering. A decent life decreases suffering more than happiness. How good a person is can be determined by the spread between the happiness increased and the suffering decreased. Obviously, if the individual has a negative spread, that is, if they've increased happiness less than they've increased suffering, or if they've decreased suffering less than they've decreased happiness, then that means very simply that the individual is bad. Therefore, if an individual causes a tremendous amount of happiness and suffering, one can simply determine which was higher and use this perfect rubric to determine whether that individual was good or bad. Simple, right? The mathematists believe that the world has been going about good and bad in the way. For eons, we've been attempting to increase happiness when instead we should have been focusing on decreasing suffering. As happiness is a fluid concept, and the more happiness you create, the harder it is to sustain, as happiness has a clear set of diminishing returns. Suffering, however, is consistent. Suffering results from happiness coming to an end. Suffering is pure and eternal. For mathematists to be supremely good, they must simply end all suffering. That is why the mathematists are working on a bomb to destroy the entire planet. By ending all life on Earth, they end an infinity of suffering into the future. With every life they avert, an entire lineage of people that would be born into a life of suffering will be no longer. Into a life of suffering will no longer. Every death is a preemptive mercy killing. Every happy moment that will no longer occur pales in the face of all the sad moments that are likewise prevented. And so, as Marlborough explained, their murder cult believes that killing is a kindness. I told him that his ideas were stupid, and he was stupid, and now he had to go to. I told him that his ideas were stupid, and he was stupid, and that now he had to go tell the man in the trench coat to go away. They do sound crazy. Like, I kind of get the logic at first, and then there's the bomb thing, and then it falls apart. Literally bombed their own logic. 6:30, the phone rang. It was strange for two reasons. First, because it was not the landline, it was a cell phone, even though we do not get cell phone service way out here. And second, because it was the cell phone, the one that I took off of Kiefer's body. I'll admit I was stuck in a bit of a moral quandary ever since Carlos confided in me. On the one hand, Carlos had killed someone. On the other, it was an accident, and Carlos's parole officer may not see it that way. I thought I would have more time to figure this out, but when the cell phone started ringing, I knew I had to make a decision. I answered it. I didn't speak first. The voice on the other line was one I recognized. You have something that belongs to my boss. It was Spencer Middleton. His cell phone and his wallet, I answered. What? No, we don't care about that shit. We can buy more phones. We get more wallets. You know what we want. He was right. I did. It was an accident, I explained. Oh, we want to make a deal. You give it back, and we pretend this whole thing didn't happen. Can we do that? Absolutely. $7:30. Carlos came in for his shift half an hour ago, and I explained the deal to him. He wasn't thrilled, but as I laid it out very clearly, he didn't have a choice. We picked Carlos' Camry behind the gas station near the growth of hand plants. I thought he said that he didn't have the hand plants. Or no, I think he said that they weren't ready. And made a point to stand far enough away to not get our ankles grabbed. Kiefer's SUV drove up a few minutes later. Spencer was driving. He and Kiefer got out without a word, sized us up, and opened the back of their vehicle. Hey, hi? Wait, what do you mean Kiefer got out of the SUV? I thought he was dead and in the car. Carlos popped his trunk. Yeah, I'm okay, just clearing my throat. But thank you. Kiefer and I stared at each other, keeping eye contact the whole time while Carlos and Spencer transferred the body from one vehicle to the other. Yeah, I'm not, gasping for air yet like I was last time. But it's also why I'm not going to make this the full 3-hour stream because, yeah, going 3 hours was a lot of effort. I could, but I don't want to. Not yet. Remember to drink water. I will. Thank you. Okay, now it's starting. Kiefer and I stared at each other, keeping eye contact the whole time while Carlos and Spencer transferred the body from one vehicle to the other. Spencer had a tarp and blanket ready to wrap everything up. When it was over, Kiefer put a hand on my shoulder and whispered in my ear, "You done good." Then they left. Carlos started crying as I went back inside the store. Am I remembering this wrong, or was Kiefer dead? Then what was the body in Carlos' car? Because I thought it was Kiefer's body. Then they left. Carlos started crying as I went back inside the store. It was almost daytime, and that's when the new part-timer was supposed to take over. 8 o'clock. The new part-timer's late, and I'm overdue for a lunch break. I made the best of my extra time here by putting price stickers and all on lawn gnomes. We're ringing them up as miscellaneous grocery for $9.99 each. And I've already sold a couple. I'm a really good employee. 8:30. I went to the bathroom and saw a man standing there with his jeans at his ankles. He wore red and white checkered boxers and a cowboy hat. He smiled when he saw me and simply said in a somewhat sing-song voice, "Come on, man. Come on with it." I took the opportunity to ask him something that has been burning at the back of my mind. Do you know, is everything going to be okay? The bathroom cowboy took a second to think. Then he pulled up his pants, fastened his enormous belt buckle, and walked past me, spurs clinking against the bathroom tile. He stopped for a second when he was right next to me and said plainly, "I appreciate it." Then he left. I honestly have no idea what that means. Those are the entirety of the receipt paper notes, but I did make a point to continue keeping this journal. I think this will be a healthy way of chronicling the weird events at the gas station. Maybe this will even help with my condition, I don't know. The next time something strange happens, maybe I'll come back and write more. Until then, I guess this is to be continued. Edits. Sorry, upon further inspection, I realized that some of the scribbles on the receipt paper may have been transcribed incorrectly. I also made some adjustments to the spelling and fixed some typos. While I was at it, I added another typo just for the observant reader. Lastly, upon the advice of some of my readers, I removed the part where I listed Farmer Jr.'s social security number and address. Also, special thanks to the reader that pointed out that strega isn't even a Spanish word. I asked Carlos about it when he came in for his 4th shift today, but Carlos simply looked at me blankly and told me that he doesn't speak Spanish. Very strange things of the gas station indeed. Unfortunately, it says part 4 is removed, so we'd have to go directly to part 5, which I don't quite want to do. So I think what I'm going to do is just move on to the next story. Let's see. Well, I've got about an hour left, unfortunately. Better or for worse. I'm going to see if I can find Happy Puppet Syndrome. Creepypasta, which is a little harder to find than I remember it. You know, back in the day, you could just, like, find it on Creepypasta Wiki, but now, whew, good luck. Yeah, that Creepypasta Wiki isn't what it used to be. They don't seem to have as much. It's honestly disappointing. But I'm on nightscribe.co, so we'll try it there. This is by... Well, it says uploaded by Random Acts of Kindness, but I think it was... found it somewhere. Or was it? By Error666, I believe. Man, do I feel old. I can't even find my own favorite creepypastas. But what did we think about that, actually? Let's take a little break. What did we think about Tales from the Gas Station? I think that's a pretty good, like, how should I say this? It's pretty good at being a story where you're not sure what's real and what's there and what makes sense. I kind of like that. It's bizarre, but it has the confidence to say things that don't make sense and just keep going with it. And so from the perspective of the gas station employee, being told from the gas station employee's perspective, I think it helps a lot, because he's the guy who just kind of lets it all happen and doesn't bother with it much. And so it's up to the reader to notice these things that he just brushes aside because that's his everyday. I liked it. I like it too. It's a very bizarre one, but it's good at being bizarre. The confidence in its writing and how it just lays out the events plainly, I think is was done very well. I'm gonna eat a granola bar real quick because I'm hungry. This one might be me acting a bit more. After I'm done, of course. There's a whole bunch of weird stuff, but you don't know which is relevant. Which is a nice bit of red herringism. Yeah, exactly. Though I don't know what red herring means. A red herring is like a false lead in a detective story. Ah, okay. So I'll have a bit of a tough time identifying those in stories then. Because I can't think of any I've seen in stories off the top of my head. So what will happen, I will see them as I see them, perhaps, maybe. Almost done with my snack. It's snack time, baby brother. Here's your granola bar. Are you bisexual? What do you mean? What? Oh, yeah, no. Hang on. Yeah, I was missing context. I was kind of hoping you'd see what it was quote retweeting, but I forgot, like, embedded Twitter stuff on Discord doesn't show that. So, yeah. There's your context, though. They were quote retweeting that in response to, fat art. I have a character from a popular RPG. And the part of the joke is that the guy, I think his name is Olivia, is from an anime called, what's it called again? Baki the Grappler. But Olivia's wife is like morbidly obese. But Olivia himself, as you can see, is extremely muscular. And so that's the joke. They post Olivia when they see a fat girl they like. And sometimes they make it like a whole funny edit with slowed down songs and such. Ah, okay. I thought maybe you'd like get the joke at least. If you know about people posting like really muscular guys in response to fat women. You know, looking at how I have Ozerlane on autoplay. Yeah, it's playing itself, by the way. I played this game and even I don't know how I'm supposed to play it. It's like, it's a bullet hell thing, so you're supposed to dodge the bullets, but there's so many of them and your character spaces are so large that it's hard to really dodge anything because it's littered all over the screen. That I just don't get how I'm supposed to play it properly. Just kind of like tank all the bullets and hope for the best. But autoplay finished, so I'm gonna put them on some commissions before I let them rest. Which takes no stamina, so don't worry, I'm not pushing them too hard. I'm not overworking my darlings. Not telling them, whip! Whip! Work for me back in those mines! Get me more gotcha currency! Grant donation. I guess. One more thing. Yeah, I'm sorry it's taking so long. I'm almost done, I promise. Aye. The game's playing itself, John! I'm trying to, John, but the game is playing itself. It's playing itself, John! Post-fanboy get really muscular girls in responses. That could be some interesting bait. I hope that works out that way, because that could be pretty funny. Alrighty. Now this one's a bit of a bite. I'm taking it. Actually, this one's too much of a challenge, but I'll try it. Actually. Am I? Okay, well, sure. You know what? Sure, I already did it last time. I'll try acting. Alright, Happy Puppet Syndrome by, I think it was Error 666. Found on Night Scribe, uploaded by Random Acts of Kindness. Alrighty. So hope I don't humiliate myself too much. It was simple, we thought. Take a few chromosomes, slice them up, put them over there, and hey! Perfect human being. I'm still not sure what went wrong. Maybe a miscalculation, a misprocedure, or something beyond our control, who knows? A few of my psychologist colleagues and I were intrigued by human emotion. Anger, despair, euphoria. Was it possible to lock the mind into one emotion? To lock it into a euphoric state so that no sadness or anger would cloud its thought? Theoretically, yes. I won't describe the procedures of our experiments to you, both because I wouldn't want to repeat them, but also I fear I will go mad if I have to recount them. The terrible things we did. We were ambitious, youthful, nothing could stop us, and no one could tell us we were wrong. All I will tell is that we got a hold of a few stem cells, nurtured them into fetuses, and tampered ever so slightly with the genetics. The experiment was called the Angel Man Project, and the goal was to create a being which felt only happiness. But something went wrong. Terribly wrong. It's a possible locked mind in one. Let's watch Yu-nee's reading stream. Let's see, it's very fun. That genuinely kind of hurts, but it's true, and I hate that. I'm assuming you're talking about the face, the facial expression, in which case, yeah, because I don't have face tracking. I want face tracking, but my modeler, who offers a very good price, does not offer face tracking, sadly. And if I want face tracking, it is possibly $1,000. That sucks. Big decisions on this channel. Big decisions. Was I referring to the monotone? Ah, I was hoping you weren't referring to the monotone. Yeah. That freaking monotone. I think I hear emotion in my voice, and when I hear it back to me, this is me speaking when I'm angry. This is me speaking when I'm happy. I hate that. Anyway. Half of the test subjects died unexpectedly, without warning and without cause. The remaining half were mostly born hideously distorted. 3 were born well. Perfect, we thought. A human with mental capability beyond any other due to its locked euphoric state. They were perfectly normal up to 18 months. And that's when the first symptoms appeared. Lack of balance, trouble sleeping and eating, low responsiveness. We all panicked on the inside, of course, but on the outside, we remained calm and continued the project. And we should have ended there. We have the technology. We have created these. The smiling friend. And then they created him as the first. That would probably be Mr. Boss and then Pim. We should have ended there. We should have taken those damned subjects and euthanized them and burned them and closed the lab. But we continued. Things only got worse. The subjects' movements became increasingly sporadic, and they still could not utter words, although they could laugh, and did so often. Much too often. Not happy laughter, but quiet, almost nervous laughing, and nearly constant. No matter how much pain was inflicted on the subject, it merely stared at you and laughed as if it were mocking you, calling your attempts to harm it futile. Like the headcanon that Mr. Boss is some horrific creepypasta science experiment. He could be, knowing him. I don't know, he's a little too sentient for me to think that. He's probably the one who would make the science experiment. And then he made Pim. Maybe that's that baby that Mr. Boss has. It's the creepypasta he's making. How about Squim? I forgot about Squim. I didn't see the Squim episode. It could be Squim. We expected the subject to have extra learning capabilities. Quite the opposite occurred. Their mental development was severely delayed. They couldn't pay attention to something for more than a few minutes before lapsing into a laughing fit. But we continued, hoping that these symptoms would clear up as the children got older. We gave a name to the symptoms. Happy Puppet Syndrome, because the mindless movements of the children made it seem more like they were puppets on strings. Don't scream, make a little... Yeah, I should probably watch the Squim episode, because that was pretty funny. Even though I kind of hate Squim. Just from that one clip where he hears about the guy and his late wife, and he just starts dancing everywhere. 5 years into the project, we realized there was no hope. We could no longer stand the incessant laughing of these children as if they knew something we did not. As if some kind of joke passed between them. To look at a child and to see it twitch sporadically and laugh excessively is a haunting thing. Two of my colleagues had already quit because they could not stand it. I never heard from them afterwards. They are most likely dead. Your audio is going weird. Really? I have it right up against my face. Let me try rereading that paragraph. 5 years into the project, we realized there was no hope. We could no longer stand the incessant laughing at these children as if they knew something we did not, as if some kind of joke passed between them. To look at a child and to see it twitch sporadically and laugh excessively is a haunting thing. Two of my colleagues had already quit because they could not stand it. I never heard from them afterwards. They are most likely dead. The children had not talked for 5 years, only laughed their damned laugh. We went in to give them breakfast and they stared at us with their... How's this now? And they stared at us with their huge eyes, twitching, giggling, and saying nothing. We laid the meal in front of them and left. The meal was laced with toxins that would silently and painlessly kill the subjects. It was a painful thing to do, but it had to be done. What's better, it was still a taunt. Well, I said haunt, but it's probably my microphone. It's weird. I'm not sure what more to do about this, but let me see if I can, back, in terms of filters. Oh man, I'm gonna have to spend some time tweaking that, because like I have 5 filters and each one has multiple settings within it. But let me see if I can. I lowered the close threshold on my noise gate by an extra negative 5 decibels, so we'll see how that goes. So that it won't close so easily. And open threshold. Oh, which one does it take? It's to be lowered so that it opens more easily, I believe. But please let me know how that is now. However, it would not be that easy. As a friend of mine set a tray of food down in front of one of the boys, the laughing stopped. The boy looked up at my friend, his eyes suddenly dark, dead serious, the laughing gone. They continued to stare at him and twitch for a while. My friend was in shock and would not move. My colleagues and I stood with pen and notepad ready to take notes. Suddenly, my friend fell to his knees, grasping his head and yelling furiously. He appeared to be in tremendous pain. My colleagues and I were so surprised by this, we could do nothing but sit and watch. My friend collapsed to the floor, yelling curses. He tripped violently a few times, and then went limp. I held back the urge to be sick more successfully than a few of my colleagues. Something about this was not normal. A dark presence seemed to tower over us. We immediately sealed the entrance. The boy stopped, looked at the door, and laughed. He fell to the floor, twitching and rolling about, laughing insanely. The 2 others did the same. After a few minutes, the fit ceased, and they stood up, still twitching, still giggling. The lights went out. I heard crashes, glass shattering, and screams. The most terrifying thing of all were the haunting whispers, coupled with the quiet laughing. When the lights went back on, the subjects were gone. 2 of my colleagues lay unconscious beside me, their bodies twisted at odd angles, blood trickling from their drooping mouths. At first they appeared to be dead. They showed no vital signs, but as I leaned in, I could hear them laughing, ever so silently. I went over to examine my friend. No pulse, no breathing, but he continued to laugh, quietly. Although the subjects had gone, I still felt as if something were watching me. Something that was just at the edge of my vision, but that I would never be able to see. Me and 1 remaining colleague closed everything down immediately. Before leaving, we destroyed our research and locked and barricaded the lab. I lost communication with my colleagues. I presume they are dead. I still feel like I am watched. I still hear the laughing, the whispering in my dreams, and sometimes when I'm awake, when I do, I run. I get up and I leave wherever I am. I'm not able to stay in the same place for more than a few days because of this. It spread. Other children were seen with similar symptoms. I have no idea how it spread. It shouldn't be something that spreads. Somebody somewhere made something up about disjunction of the 15th chromosome, and that kept people happy and in the dark for now. The disease was coined Angel Man Syndrome. So far, the spawn are not dangerous, but I know the originals still lurk somewhere. I know they're coming for me. I know they will find me. I accept this. It is what I get for attempting to tamper with nature. I leave this letter here as a warning. They're coming for you too. They are coming for all of us. If ever you hear whispering, laughing at the edge of your hearing, run. If you ever feel as if something stands right at the edge of your sight, but you cannot look at it, run. Also, I warn you, 1. Do not tamper with what is not yours. 2. Even angels can be demons in disguise. And 3. Do not come for me. I am as good as dead. The following manuscript was found in an abandoned and hidden laboratory discovered deep in an Alaskan forest. The laboratory consisted of an observation room and a containment room. The containment room was barricaded and locked, and the entire lab seemed to have caught fire at one point. Traces of blood were found after the containment room was breached and a window was shattered. The exact nature of this lab is yet undiscovered. He doesn't sound like much of a scientist to be Desu. Good pasta, though. I always liked this one. I don't know. Maybe out of nostalgia, but... but it was always one of my favorites. It's simple, it's to the point, but it's spooky, too. Not much of a scientist, maybe. I think you'd be surprised, scientists ran some pretty crazy experiments back in the day. It's part of why there's ethics now, but it also means you don't discover as much. Alrighty, well, Abandoned by Disney is a good one, but that one takes too long, and last I remember Slime Beast likes to hand out DMCAs for that. We read Tales from the Gas Station, so how about you pick between SCP-4000, Godzilla Creepypasta, and Russian Sleep Experiment? But whichever one you read, you pick for me, I am going to need a link, if that's alright. He does? Dang, that sucks. Yeah. At least I had heard, but it's been a long time. The last I remember, Mr. Creepypasta's reading of Abandoned by Disney got taken down at some point. Because I think Slime Beast handed out, kind of made him take it down. It was only that one, not the other parts. For some reason, only that one. But you can find it still uploaded, but by a different channel. How much time do you have left? Anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, so probably enough for one pasta left. Try not to worry too much about the length of it. I'll still try and read it from start to finish. Oh, I really want to read Abandoned by Disney. See how long this is. That's on Night Scribe. Okay. I like this picture they've got for the one on Night Scribe. Oh, it's uploaded by Slime Beast himself. I like the mold that's on the walls, even though it's unfortunately probably AI. Ooh, this one's a doozy. I forgot how long this one is. Well, no, actually I remember how long. Do Abandon if you want to. If not, then SCP-4000. Okay. Let's see, SCP-4000. The good thing about these is that they're easy to find. Redacted per protocol. Okay, we're off to a good start. Ooh, this one might be long. Ooh. Okay, this one's... Ah, snap. There's like tabs in some of this stuff. Alright, when you said Godzilla Creepypasta, which one did you mean? Did you mean Man in the Suit? I'm not assuming you mean red, or NES Godzilla Creepypasta, because that one's, like... Not only is that one super long, but... I'm not... I get the feeling you mean a different one. I meant NES, but the man in the suit could work too. Oh... NES Godzilla is pretty long. Yeah, we'll read redacted SCP-4000. Alright, cool, I picked the good one. Alright, SCP Foundation. Glad there isn't. Anyway. Redacted per protocol 4000 ESHU. Warning. The following anomaly is affected by communication. Do not refer to it in speech or writing unless trained. Item. Restricted per protocol 4000 ESHU. Object class Keter. Special containment procedures. This is going to be new for me because I've never narrated an SCP entry. I never even read these, actually. But I'll do my best. Special containment procedures. The extra-dimensional location described below, although this isn't going to be one for acting, but whatever, as well as the entities and landmarks contained therein are nomenclative hazards. Issue class, and therefore may not be referred to by any name, title, or designation. Only descriptions may be used when referring to the forest outside normative space and native entities thereof. Variations must be made in these descriptions each time a subject is described. Descriptions may be color-coded for clarity, and florid language may be used for the sake of nomenclative diversity. In the event of a nomenclative containment breach, standard issue class recontainment protocol must be carried out immediately by the individual responsible for the breach. If the individual is rendered unable to perform the procedure, the responsibility falls to the individual's next of kin. If the individual responsible for the breach has no next of kin, the individual's name must be expurgated from all existing documents and records. Any other individuals possessing the same name are to be administered Type G viral amnestics and assigned a new one. In accordance with Order 05-4000-F26, at least one successful expedition into the strange and dangerous woodland area must be carried out per year to assess any deviations from baseline abnormality. Due to the high risk involved in entering the place where the nameless are found, personnel sent in to conduct research must be trained in standard exploration protocol as detailed in 4000 SEP. SEP. Unauthorized documentation of the forest found in chimneys must be suppressed via standard information containment protocol. Unauthorized individuals with knowledge of procedure 4000 Halloway are to be administered amnestics and may be released following a period of disquisitional rehabilitation. Description. The SCP in question is an extra-dimensional forested area with numerous anomalous qualities, including a hazardous nomenclative phenomenon. This anomalous location is accessed by performing 4000 Halloway, see document Doc 4000H. After completing the procedure, subjects emerge from the opening of a dilapidated brick well fixed into the forest floor. The only way to reliably traverse the unusual terrain is by use of a single dirt path. Explorations that diverge from said route have resulted in immediate loss of contact with participating subjects. The sole safe road may only be traversed in a single direction, and any attempt by subjects to turn back and return the way they came will result in similar loss of contact. I was about to ask if the audio was good, but I think I see it. Like, they're describing it, but they're kind of jumping around it. But my own unfamiliarity with SCP documents and my poor memory, as well as just the natural slowness of my brain having to jog itself and see and remember the definition of some of these words I'm reading, these longer ones that I'm not as used to, it kind of makes it hard for me to get what they're doing. But they're basically saying, don't go there. Is that it? They can't refer to it by name either. That I did notice. They're in green. Yeah, they can't even acknowledge it, so they have to describe it and color code it. So a lot of these descriptions, which I'm trying to differentiate from the rest by tone, are in green, and I know that's how they're describing it, which I kind of like, instead of just redacted, which I appreciate. Like, that's creative, that's good, thank you. For frick's sake, instead of just black text, the black highlighted area, like, come on. The unnamed world does not adhere to the constraints of linear space. Cartographic endeavors have resulted in vastly different routes being recorded with each expedition, and sections of the mandatory trail, which should logically overlap or intersect, do not. And the only consistency in the layout is the access point, which is always located at both ends of the main road. The only way for a subject to safely exit the woods which have no name after they have begun following it is by walking its entire length and returning to the place where they began at the opposite end. A variety of anomalous entities native to the nameless habitat have been documented. Native entities often undergo changes in physical structure when unobserved, which has made it difficult for researchers to determine which recorded entities are unique beings and which are newer iterations of those previously documented. Entities claim they have no control over these changes and frequently express dissatisfaction when they occur. That reminds me of Zenless Zone Zero, because like if you go into the certain monster areas, people tend to get ether corruption, or they get sick with ether or something. Native entities often obstruct the trail which subjects tread, making it necessary for subjects to interact with them to progress. Native entities are sapient and often highly temperamental, but can be interacted with safely as long as 4000 SEP precautions are followed. Consequences for disregarding these precautions will vary depending on the personality of the offended entity. Degrees of retribution encountered by research subjects have included verbal rebuke, acts of violence, and anomalous alteration of the subject's physical, conceptual, or nomenclative attributes. Various anomalous phenomena may occur when consistent nomenclature is applied to the realm of the unnameable, its native entities, or its landmarks. These phenomena are still poorly understood, partially due to the prohibition of nomenclative experimentation under Orders 05-4000-F26. Documented nomenclative phenomena have included. If you get confused by a part, don't feel Feel afraid to ask me. Thank you, I will. Though chances are I'll be so confused I won't even have a question. Because, like, I won't understand enough to form a question, if that makes sense. But thank you, I will keep it in mind. Documented nomenclative phenomena have included episodic cluster headaches among subjects exposed to affected nomenclator, visual and auditory hallucinations among exposed subjects, usually involving environments or entities described by nomenclature. Gustatory hallucinations and phantasmia have also been reported in a small subset of classes, nomenclative being named. Ah, okay. Thank you. Described by nomenclator. Gustatory hallucinations and phantasmia have also been reported in a small subset of cases. Did I send this to my modeler? Yes, I did. Okay. Sudden onset of psychogenic amnesia among exposed subjects. The development of non-human physical characteristics among exposed subjects, such as feathers and pollen sacs. The development of biological components in non-biological mediums where nomenclature is written or recorded. Sudden involuntary transport of exposed subjects to the wilderness of unnamed things without the use of procedure 4000 Halloway. Manifestation of various flora within indoor spaces where nomenclature was used. Sudden transport of native entities to areas where nomenclature was used. Biological fusion of exposed subjects and native entities. Biological fusion of native entities in architectural spaces where nomenclature was used. Extreme iron deficiency in exposed subjects with an absence of expected negative side effects. Order 05-4000 F26 was ratified by the Overseer Council in 1954. A 1970 amendment requires that 05-4000 F26 receive unanimous endorsement from the Council every 10 years in order to remain in effect. To date, no Overseer memos regarding 05-4000 F26 have been disseminated to lower clearance levels. Accessing content. Please stand by. Request. Notable CB. Access granted. Addendum. The following are examples of anomalous phenomena observed during nomenclative breaches. Breach date. 9th of June, 1954. Named subject. The glade of which we seldom speak. Summary. Initial discovery and subsequent breach took place in an abandoned home in rural Connecticut. The circumstances of the discovery are unclear due to a lack of surviving personnel, but a general timeline of events has been established. Timestamps are in standard NATO format. 1340S. The hollow unspoken titles is discovered and given a temporary Type E designation by Field Agent Garrett Bradley, creating nomenclative breach. 1345S. Field Agent Moira Donati enters the land beyond the flu and is never recovered. 1347S. Agent Bradley begins to gradually sink into the hardwood floor. Nearby agents flee the area. I hope you still like it. I do, but I'm not proud of my narration. Because I know this is probably like super monotone, but considering the nature of an SCP document, I'm not sure what other tone I can describe this with. Given the content and the style of the writing, it's very much a scientific document, and it would probably be narrated as such. Like, nobody's confused when they're reading this. This is just Monday work to them. But it's interesting so far. I do kind of like the idea that it's basically just a spooky forest where bad stuff happens and people just kind of disappear. It's a classic kind of trope, but it's one I don't get tired of, really. The Volgun has very good voice acting on SCPs. I'm gonna watch that, because that sounds pretty interesting. I don't know how you could have good voice acting on SCPs, considering it feels like it just forbids any sort of voice acting. But I'll watch that. Thank you. 1348S. Soon after exiting the house, all agents are suddenly rendered immobile, with the exception of Timothy Woods, who was not aware of the Type E designation. But if you have any kind of tone, if you have anything you want me to do, please let me know. 1349S. Immobilized agents vocalize distress as their torsos elongate. 1351. Elongation cease. 1351S. Elongation ceases after agents have reached a height approximating that of the chimney where procedure 4000 Halloway was performed. Smoke expels from their facial orifices. And Timothy Woods reports these developments via radio to Site 08. Secondary breach is caused when Timothy Woods repeatedly uses the phrase, the black highlighted area, to describe the world where words have power. 1355S. Timothy Woods states that he sees his name in the trees. Site 08 personnel press Timothy Woods for further information. Timothy Woods attempts to orally consume his radio and soon expires from internal injuries. 1359S. Timothy Woods correspondence in Site 08 are observed suffering from severe headaches and are placed under quarantine. 1424S. Osteal protrusions resembling tree branches emerge from the orbital cavities of quarantined Site 08 personnel. Personnel report no physical discomfort despite exhibiting full globe luxation in both sockets. Ugh. Afterward, nomenclative anomaly eventually discovered after numerous cycles of multivariable D-class exposure to affected Site 08 personnel. Breach date, 22nd of December 1955. Named subject, the footpath which loops around the entire area. Summary, Desk completed the first successful exploratory mission in the Grove Beneath Nameless Stars and was immediately quarantined. After exhibiting no anomalous effects for 72 hours, Desk was then allowed to write an account of his experiences. When researchers returned to check on his progress, Desk had vanished. Traces of soil and human tissue were later found in the pencil, paper, and Harvey Mansfield Desk had used in his writing. And the Harvey Mansfield? I don't know what that is. Breach date, 19th of August 1958. Named subject, the native entity that sits atop a throne of bones and cradles a flaming child. Summary. This is where it gets mindfucky. I believe it. My mind's already getting kind of mind fricked. That's because my mind's not healthy. I'm gonna have to start doing puzzles really quick. If that's alright with you, but I'm also just lamenting that I'm going to have to start doing puzzles because I don't know. I don't think this poor memory is normal. And I'm hoping to get this checked really soon. But anyway. Summary. After completing an exploratory mission, I'll try not to spoil it too much. Oh, thank you. Field Agent Ethan Mercy used the same epithet several times when describing a particular native entity. Several minutes later, he complained of severe nausea and began to vomit blood and bone marrow. Over the course of several hours, Agent Mercy was reported to have somehow orally expelled most of his bones. Personnel throughout Site-08 experienced auditory hallucinations of a woman's laughter for the next several days. But the thing that happened here is not just that it's a spooky force, but one that can take someone's name and reassign it to another thing, as happened with Desk. Maybe I'm just not at that part that describes that happening yet. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking, because I'm wondering, like, is that described somewhere and I missed that, or did I not understand something? Because, like, with breach date, 22nd of December 1955, Desk completed the exploratory mission and then wrote about it, and now he's gone. And they found soil and human tissue. And pencil, paper, and Harvey Mansfield, whatever that is, which I guess might be the part where I'm not getting it. And then Ethan Mercy 4 vomited out his bones. Now people think they hear a woman laughing at them. Avoid even. Oh! Traces found in the pencil, paper, and Harvey Mansfield. Harvey Mansfield. Oh, okay. I think I kind of get it, but at the same time I don't, because it says the pencil, paper, and Harvey Mansfield, and I thought maybe Harvey Mansfield was like a specific object, like a desk model? Because otherwise, why would it be followed with the? Okay, I think I get it. It's supposed to be were later found in the pencil, paper, and desk. And desk Harvey Mansfield had used in his writing, but instead it switched them around. Okay, I get it. That, I would not have understood that. I would have wondered, the fuck? I'm also like, when I read, I don't think that much. When I read out loud, I don't think that much, because like a part of my brain's, I'm not smart, okay, I'm sorry. But yeah. Let's see. Don't worry, confuse the fuck out of me too the first time. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the comfort. That makes me feel better. Use the same epithet several times in describing particularly divinity, nausea, blood, bone marrow, the hours, age of mercy was for to have somehow expelled his bones. His. So I don't know where the woman's laughter came from. Maybe it will make more sense to me as I keep reading. Hopefully. Breach date, 4th of March, 1966. The native entity that resembles a feathered lion with a skeletal ram's head. Summary: college student Vanessa Hayforth attempted to check into numerous medical facilities in and around Portland, Oregon, complaining that her head had become covered in flesh, and despite exhibiting no signs of unusual tissue growth. He was eventually detained by Foundation investigators and found to be in possession of a book that described, among other things, Procedure 4000 Hallway in its entirety. After stipulating that Foundation personnel assist in removing the flesh from her head if she cooperated, Hayforth assisted in removing. Hayforth confessed that she had received the book from an acquaintance in the Wanderer's library. Afterward, this was the first known case of a civilian-triggered nomenclative breach. Similar incidents have occurred intermittently since. In 2012, a native entity was photographed that superficially resembled a young Hayforth, more than 2 decades after Hayforth died in Foundation custody. Oh. Oh, then nomenclated as a naming breach. Oh, okay. I think I see what you're getting. I think I see what you mean now. I'm like, wait, it took her body? Or like, she was resurrected in the forest. Breach date, 30th of October. You see it now? Kind of. It's like, I see what you're getting at, but it feels like it does it a little differently every time. Breach date, 30th of October, 1992. Yeah, this is some big brain stuff. The house in which Michael Ashley Vincent spent several nights during his exploratory mission. Summary. Agent Michael Ashley Vincent, who had completed an exploratory mission several years prior, used the possessive phrase black text house. Black highlighter text house several times while recounting stories to two of his colleagues, who did not have names. Sometime later, a large brick building manifested inside Site 0A, intersecting with existing architecture. Michael Ashley Vincent's headless body was found inside, seizing violently and fused at the neck to a light fixture made of elk antlers. Oh. His face, which did not appear animate, had enlarged to take up the entire surface of the building's floor. Field agents sent into the face's mouth found that it did not possess a full digestive tract. However, Michael Ashley Vincent's nameless colleagues were reported to have been conjoined with his uvula. Bruh. Okay, that one I don't quite see as the naming thing, but like at the same time I think I do. So it's replacing floor with Vincent's face. SCPs do kind of tend to be big brain when they're not redacted. Yeah, this one certainly sounds like it. You gotta piece it together what it's doing and why. And thinking about it, Control really was like SCP the game, wasn't it? Accessing content. Please stand by. Request. Doc 4000H. Access granted. 4000 Holloway. Yes, it was, indeed. The following is a censored list of instructions for accessing the horizon beyond the labels. Certain steps have been omitted in this version of this document. Please. Phrases and counterphrases at the end of the procedure will differ depending on the subject's type category. The oldest child in their family, type 1, the middle-born, type 2, or the youngest only child, type 3. Number 1. Using organic kindling, start a steady flame within any indoor fireplace. 2. Combine the powdered bones of a male red fox, Vulpes vulpes, any age, an adult male lion, Panthera leo, and a baleen whale, Mice Deceti, any age, any gender. Cast the mixture into the fire. These are pretty specific, huh? Take an easily burnt personal possession of strong sentimental value and allow the fire to consume it. Carefully release 3 feathers from any black-plumed bird of the genus Corvus over the fire and allow the smoke to carry them up the flue. If the fire begins to emit vocalizations, respond with the appropriate counterphrase. See phrases and counterphrases below. If the correct statements are given, the fireplace will expand and the ladder will descend. The fire will be harmless. If incorrect statements are made for any reason, immediately apologize and do not attempt procedure 4000 Holloway again at any point in the future. Note: Individuals who are present during Procedure 4000 Halloway but were not the one conducting Procedure 4000 Halloway must not respond to vocalizations or approach the active fireplace under any circumstances. One thing I hate about reading online is that black on white or white on black kind of gets to my eyes eventually. I love how it's weird, dreamy, fantasy, fairy tale logic, but the Foundation tries to apply some form of scientific logic to it. Yeah, it is pretty unique, isn't it? It makes it all the harder to figure it out. But it is pretty cool. Phrases and counterphrases. Variant 1. Type 1 subjects. Phrase, these woods have rules. Counterphrase, or so they say. Phrase, and if you break them? Counterphrase, a price I'll pay. Variant 2. Type 2 subjects. Phrase, is someone there? Counterphrase, there's only me. Phrase, and who are you? Counterphrase, I guess you'll see. Variant 3. Type 3 subjects. Phrase, what do you seek? Counterphrase, to walk the trees. Phrase, now mind your manners. Counterphrase, to walk them, please. End. Doc 4000H. Accessing content. Please stand by. Request standard exploration protocol. Access granted. Note, the following is a truncated list containing only instructions that are crucial to survival. Personnel assigned to explorative duties must also familiarize themselves with 4000 SEP 3 through 8 before embarking. 4000 SEP 1. General guidelines for exploration. Okay. Be nice if Discord would tell me which specific message is being reacted to. Instead of just glowing orange but not telling me anything. Maybe it's my settings. General guidelines for exploration 1.01. You must be equipped with a standard Foundation expedition pack prior to entering the place where names are not allowed. Oh, okay, now that's a bit of a hint. Or, I think I'm starting to get it, but like, kind of makes... Well, let's just keep reading. 1.02. Do not consume any food other than the rations included inside the standard Foundation expedition pack. 1.03. Do not bring firearms into the dimension of trees under any circumstances. 1.04. Type 1 subjects must avoid accepting or directly handling that which could be considered a valuable resource. This includes, but is not limited to, forms of currency, precious metals and stones, objects imbued with useful anomalous properties, and well-crafted weaponry. 1.05. Type 2 subjects must avoid any native entities that regard the subject with affection or romantic attraction, and must not give the appearance of reciprocating these feelings in any way. Statements made by a native entity which profess affection or romantic attraction for a Type 2 subject are false. So like sirens, but for the forest. 1.06. Type 3 subjects must avoid partaking in activities that are commonly considered frivolous, luxurious, or physically comforting. This includes, but is not limited to, dancing, smoking, playing with toys, drinking anything other than water, listening to music, and sleeping on a padded surface. Don't trust the thoughts. It sure sounds like that. It's like forest sirens or something. 1.07. Structures encountered along the way you must travel may be entered after knocking at the entryway. Leave the structure from where you came. If entering uninvited, do not be discovered. 1.08. If you fall asleep in the woods where rules are paramount, record your dreams. A journal is included in your expedition pack. If you encounter any landmarks or entities similar to a dream you recorded, treat the dream as fact. Dang, we can't get the monster huzz in here? That sucks. 4000 SCP-2. Guidelines for interacting with native entities. 2.01. Greet native entities with any formal salutation before engaging in conversation. If female, bow or curtsy. 2.02. Speak in a cordial tone of voice. 2.03. Do not make any statements that you know to be false. 2.04. Do not make disparaging comments about native entities while in their presence. 2.05. Say please and thank you when appropriate. 2.06. Refer to and address native entities using descriptions of their physical appearance per protocol 4000 ESHU. Better be real nice and flowery about that, I guess. Otherwise I might take it as rude. 2.07. Do not refer to a native entity by a name, title, or designation, even if it introduces them itself with such. 2.08. Do not state your name, nickname, code name, alias, or any other personal designation when in the presence of a native entity. 2.09. If a native entity offers to assign you a name, title, or designation, politely decline. 2.10. If a native entity makes a statement in which it addresses or refers to you by a name, title, designation, or anything other than a physical description, ignore the statement as though it had not been spoken. 2.11. If pressed for information that is considered confidential, refuse, briefly apologize, and bow. 2.12. If a native entity appears to require your assistance, consider its appearance before choosing to help. 2.12.a. If the entity appears threatening, do whatever is necessary to aid it. 2.12.b. If the entity appears attractive or harmless, do not approach. 2.12.c. Always feed a native entity if it is hungry. This overrules 2.12.b. 2.13. Do not attempt to mount any bestial entities you encounter unless it has earned your trust and given you its consent. 2.14. If you are offered a physical gift, receive it with both hands. Do not discard this gift, even if it appears to have no use or value. This is overruled 1.04. Unless it's like money, currencies, objects of power, or even weapons. Gotcha. Do not accept the object of power. It is not helpful to you. 2.15. If a native entity offers you a non-physical gift or attempts to initiate a trade, politely decline. 2.16. You may accept food offered by native entities and offer that food to other native entities you encounter, but do not consume it yourself. 2.17. Do not sleep in any lodging offered by native entities. You may sleep inside the residence of a native entity as long as you do not what? As long as you do not have an invitation to do so. Oh, so you're supposed to avoid that. If they invite you, then it's bad. But if they don't invite you, then it's good, even though you're supposed to be polite. If a native entity offers to accompany you on your journey, accept but do not tell them where you are going. 2.19. If you are aided by a native entity, you must aid it in return if you have not done so already. 2.20. If you encounter an incorporeal humanoid that claims it is not a native entity, disregard all previous protocols and follow its instructions. End standard exploration protocol. Accessing content, please stand by. Request interview _ 4000 _ 0215. Access denied. This data has been expunged. Request interview _ 4000 _ 0215. Credentials: ejapers /m4d 754 p ARTE3. Access granted. Hello, Dr. Japers. Interview archive 4000-0215. Interesting to know that they'll just lock off stuff from you and tell you that it's gone just to protect you. Interesting. The following is a series of interviews conducted by Dr. Eugene Japers over the course of several years. This data has been expunged from all general documents under Order 05-4000-F26. Encounter 1. Interview, Dr. Eugene Japers. Interviewee description: the native entity with a head resembling that of a rabbit's. We're going to read Encounter 1. I see figure 2.1. Forward. Interview conducted in 2005 during Dr. Japers' first expedition into the space where speech is deadly. Begin log. Good morning, strange traveler. Now you get to do VAing. Yeah, thank goodness. Thank you. Good morning, strange traveler. Hang on one second. Oh man, my voice is dry now. Good morning, strange traveler. Dr. Japers. Good morning. It's nice to see a new face around these parts. Kindly excuse the smoke, just airing my thoughts. How is your name? Dr. Japers. How is? I'm sorry, I'm afraid I can't tell you that. Dr. Japers bows. You simple, I'm merely asking how your name is. My name has smelt of raspberries lately. I think, snapdragons, perhaps. It's so hard to tell these days, but one makes an effort. Dr. Japers. Ah, my apologies. I'm afraid my name has tasted rather tart as of late. Leporin entity laughs and doffs its hat. No, I'm the one who should apologize. I shouldn't have pried. Dr. Japers. It's quite alright, I don't mind at all. It has been lovely to meet you, but I must be on my way. Must you, though? My home is close by, and I was hoping to invite you in for tea. Dr. Japers bows again. I'm terribly sorry, but unfortunately I cannot stop at this moment. Perhaps another day. Very well. Until next time, stranger whose name tastes rather tart. And log. Encounter 2. Interviewer, Dr. Eugene Japers. Interviewee description: the gentleman with the leporine visage. I know the voice isn't the most creative, I'm sorry. Kind of sounds like one of those TikTok text-to-speech AI voices. which always makes you think of sound-oriented videos about Pimpy Sun Up. Pimpy Sun Up! I like your voice. Oh, thank you. Sounds spooky. I do try. But, you know, on a whim, it's... I don't know, it's hard to think of what would sound perfect. Interviewer, Dr. Eugene Japers. Interviewee, description, the gentleman with the leopardine visage. It doesn't sound very rabbit-like, but thank you for the compliment. Forward. Interview conducted in 2008 during Dr. Japers' fourth expedition into that burrow betwixt the bricks. Say that 3 times fast. Begin log. Dr. Japers crests a hill and discovers his hare-like acquaintance tending to a patch of cabbages. Oh, good afternoon, stranger. Except, pardon me, we've met before, haven't we? Dr. Japers. Good afternoon. I believe so, yes. 3 years ago, if memory serves. I remember now. Ran off in quite a hurry. Dr. Japers. Yes, my apologies for that. At that time I was new here and wary of those I encountered. Still the apologetic one, I see. No matter. You are not from here? Very interesting. What woods are you from? Dr. Japers. I do not come from any woods. Nonsense. Certainly you have trees where you're from, do you not? Dr. Japers. We do have trees, but they're very sparse. Most of the land is covered in homes and businesses. Then the inferior woods, but woods nonetheless. Tell me, how did you get here? Dr. Japers. I see you have an inquiring mind. I would like to ask you a question, if that's all right. Pardon my lack of manners. I consider myself something of a scholar, you see, and I get a bit excited when I have a chance to learn a force outside my own. By all means, pose your question. Dr. Japers. When we last met, you said it had become difficult to describe your name. Do you have any theories for why that may be? I can only assume it's because of how long we've been apart. My name and I, that is, it was a good name. A proud name, I'm fairly sure. By this point, though, it's probably decayed from its former grandeur, if it even still exists. Dr. Japers. Where do you think it is, currently? First, fellow scholar, you must answer my previous question. Dr. Japers nods. Dr. Japers. I came through the old but distinguished well at the end of the footpath I'm presently perambulating. The other individual hesitates before speaking. Oh my. It's been quite some time. I'll be frank, I thought all the old allies had died out. Did your grandfather or some such relation have a lover out here? Dr. Japers bows. He messed up here. It does sound like he might have somewhere. My deepest apologies, I'm afraid. I cannot answer that question. Very well, I understand. I'd invite you to my cottage for tea, but I suppose that's not possible for you, is it? Dr. Japers. I'm afraid not. The conversational partner laughs, plucks a cabbage leaf and offers it to Dr. Japers. You didn't need it fear so much. Take this and be on your way. Dr. Japers accepts the leaf with both hands. Dr. Japers. Thank you very much. Happy travels to you, and may you find the one you're looking for. End log. Afterward, Dr. Japers later used the cabbage leaf to feed a native entity resembling a field mouse, which in turn aided him on his travels. Is this like a Wonderland type of thing? Kind of sounds like it. Yeah, I think he messed up somewhere, but I don't know exactly where, and I don't want to scroll back up and reread the SCEP protocols. I already scrolled up. Why did I do that? Very much like Wonderland, but more nightmarish. Interesting, interesting. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't remember where you messed up. Seems like he did a good job, but I think he did mess up somewhere. Fellow scholar. Ah. Yeah, fellow scholar. Oh, he responded to that. Okay. That's kind of like an... Ah, right, and he's not supposed to acknowledge that. I see. Man, you do have to pay attention. Thank you, by the way. I don't know if I would have caught that unless I was like really pressing my eyes against the text for that. Interviewer, Dr. Eugene Japers. Interviewee description, the leaf giver. I hope he'll be okay though. Forward. Interview conducted in 2013 during Dr. Japers' 9th expedition to yonder vale of restless wanderers. Due to the unique knowledge that the one who bore the gift of cabbage seemed to possess about our world, Dr. Japers was instructed to conduct a more thorough interview should it be encountered a third time. Additionally, Dr. Japers was granted special permission to make false statements for the sake of facilitating conversation, as his first encounter showed the fluffy one to be susceptible to deceptions. He was given special permissions, but I guess that's where they found out that's not something you're supposed to do, only through trial and error. Begin log. The fluffy one! SCP document, the fluffy one! When you finally peel back redacted, it's just the fluffy one. Begin log. Traveling along the way of weary adventurers, Dr. Japers encountered a small white cottage with a thatched roof. A small opening in the shape of a rabbit's head is cut into the front door. Dr. Japers approaches it and knocks. It is very Wonderland-like, huh? Like a rabbit's head-shaped door. Or no, a small opening. Huh. Dr. Japers. Hello? Is anyone home? A voice slightly muffled from inside. Yes, 1 minute. Exactly 1 minute passes. The door opens. Ah, we meet again! Please, come in, come in! Dr. Japers is led inside. The interior is sparsely decorated with wooden furniture and needlework. Dr. Japers. You have a lovely home. Ha! You have a lovely sense of humor. The homeowner hurries to a kitchenette in the corner and begins preparing a kettle. Dr. Japers. No, really, I think it's charming. I suppose. It was just meant to be until things cool down on the other side, but, well, you know. Dr. Japers. I'm afraid I don't know. Would you like some help? No. You just have yourself a seat at the table over there while I get the tea ready for us. Dr. Japers draws a chair and seats himself. Dr. Japers. You're most generous, but I don't think my digestion will permit it. Oh, poor fellow. Well, I find the presence of tea to be a comfort in any case. Dr. Japers, you are most kind. Tell me, could you explain what you meant by cool down? His furried host turns the stove on and stares out a window, cut into a similar shape as the hole on the door. Your relations didn't tell you the full story, I suppose, about the turmoil that drove us here. Dr. Japers. Turmoil? Was there a war? the tufted one sighs. Isn't that always? Dr. Japers, my grandparents did tell me there were wars, but I never knew of one with you and your kind. It doesn't surprise me. There are very few even in these woods that still remember. Memory's the burden of the old, I suppose, but yes. When I was a young lad in a form very different from the one I possess now, I lived on the other end of the well. It's where I was born, where I grew up, and if I dare to dream, I will someday return. Dr. Japers, why don't you then? The kettle whistled. I can't. Not unless I know it can be welcomed back. The maker of the tea pours a cup and seats itself across the table. I'm sure you don't know this since they keep themselves hidden, but there are those who would destroy me at nearest chance. Oh, my apologies, these are dark memories. I'm sure you don't want to hear about them. The teller of the story sips its tea. No, Dr. Japers. No, please, go on. These things are of interest to me. I am a fellow scholar, remember? Uh-oh. As you wish, fellow scholar. As you wish, fellow scholar. I shall talk until the tea is cold. It clears its throat. Much as it grieves me to say it, we were betrayed. We had fought side by side. Yeah, he fought up. You know, in the war against that factory. And I think he told him in, like, very plain terms what's gonna happen to him. In the war against that factory. We had done nothing but help them, and what did they do? They destroyed us. They took so many of our lives and all of our names. Some of us fled here when the war was just beginning, but not many. Not many. Still, though, I don't hate them. Really? They took their names. So this problem had a source. Dr. Japers, I'm glad for that. I'd imagine so. There's some old fogies around these spots who bear a grudge against the whole species, but I know you're not all bad. Oh. The factory he's talking about is a different SCP. Oh, okay. I thought he was talking about, like, humans, specifically. There were many who sheltered us, fought for us, and even died for us. Some came to live here amongst us. Rest their souls. I, myself, courted a human once upon a time. He came to visit a time or two, but I never saw him after that. I still wonder now and again if he fell at the hand of an unkind neighbor, or if he merely stopped caring to see me. But it's no matter now. I apologize for prattling on about old flames. Certainly such things are of no interest to you, fellow scholar. Some came to live here. What? Oh, let me see. Came to live where? Dr. Japers, the suspicious one. On the contrary, I'd quite like to hear more of these stories. The life of you and your people is of great interest to me. I'm sure it is, fellow scholar. I'm sure it is, fellow scholar. How should I say that tone? I'm sure it is, fellow scholar. A strong breeze moves through the house. Neither party speaks for half a minute. The rabbit person who lives there grunts and places a hand to its head, as if in pain. Dr. Japers places his hand against the teapot. It appears the tea has gotten cold. I think it's time I took my leave. Speech slightly slurred. What? You're leaving? I shall leave too, then. Dr. Japers rises from the table. Dr. Japers. No. I'll be going alone, thank you. It's abrupt, yes, and I'm grievously sorry to do this, but I really must be going. I believe I'm long overdue to return home. What is... Please, don't go. Something isn't... Dr. Japers. It can't be helped. Stop. What have you done? I don't know who... What happened? My name? I can't... And Dr. Japers quickly exits the house. His former companion whimpers and looks at its hand as he leaves. Dr. Japers. It does taste rather tart. End log. Afterward, Dr. Japers successfully returned to Site 08 but was reported missing soon after. Investigations into his disappearance and current whereabouts have been inconclusive. It was initially theorized that Dr. Japers was exposed to an anomalous influence on his physiology during his most recent mission. However, thorough analysis showed no genetic abnormalities in the fur he'd shed on his expedition gear. Fur he himself would shed? End interview. _4000_0215. He took his name, can't have she in the forest of fairy groves. Detroit. But stronger. Footnotes. To activate color blindness accessibility, click here. Number 1. And number 2, amnestic class to be determined on a case-by-case basis. Okay. Oh, right, and he said his name sounded was rather tart. Or, oops, wait. His name has tasted rather tart as of late. And so now his name was taken away from him. By who, though? Because the rabbit sounded like he was panicked. Huh. The rabbit took his name mid-interview. Yeah. But he sounded like it was a bad thing, too. He swapped it. But then why did the rabbit panic? Whimpers and looks at its hands. Huh. He didn't panic. The interviewer panicked. Oh, did it? Did he? But it says his former companion whimpers and looks at its hands as he leaves. Because the name was... Oh! Okay, I get it. Oh, okay. His former companion whimpers and looks at its hands as he leaves. But Dr. Japers... Oh. Okay, I get that. That makes sense now. Thank you. Man, that was... I did not catch that. You have to pay attention for these, jeez. Should I reread that last part? Amnestic class to be determined on a case-by-case basis. Number 3, similar to topographic abnormalities have been observed in geonormative forests as well, though no direct connections between these phenomena have been confirmed. Okay, I'll read it after the footnotes. Number 4. Rare occasions have been recorded where native entities appeared inherently inimical toward human life. Number 5. Archaic object class used as a preliminary designation for newly discovered anomalies still in an unsecured state. Number 6. The full contents of the book are restricted to Level 5 personnel under Order 05-4000-4 F26. However, official statements have noted that certain rituals and locations described in the book bear strong similarities to SCP-1660 and SCP-860. Recent declassifications have revealed that another passage may have been written in reference to SCP-3560, which was discovered more than 50 years after the book's recovery. The significance of SCP-3560 potentially predating the existence of Anderson robotics has yet to be determined. Number 7. No such procedures were carried out. Narrate. This statement has been flagged for potential memetic corruption. I don't care what the records say. After 30 years in the Department of Memetics, you learn when to follow your gut, and right now my gut is telling me that there's something off about this. Dr. Storm. Number 9. Examples of acceptable greetings. Good morning. Hello. Pardon me. Examples unacceptable greetings. Hey. Yo. What's up? Number 10. Dr. Japers was later reprimanded for violating SEP 2.03. And 11. This information not considered classified for native entities. That better not be the one that tells you not to lie. They told him! They gave him permission to lie! And now they're like, why'd you lie? You told me to! On the contrary, I'd like to hear more of these stories. The life of you and your people is of great interest to me. I'm sure it is, fellow scholar. A strong breeze moves through the house. Neither party speaks for half a minute. The rabid person who lives there grunts and places a hand to its head as if in pain. Dr. Japers places his hand against the teapot. Dr. Japers. It appears the tea has gotten cold. I think it's time I took my leave. Speech slightly slurred. What? You're leaving? I should leave too then. Dr. Japers rises from the table. No. I'll be going alone, thank you. It's abrupt, yes, and I'm grievously sorry to do this, but I really must be going. I believe I'm long overdue to return home. What is... Please, don't go. Something isn't... Dr. Japers, it can't be helped. Stop. What have you done? I don't know what happened to my name. I can't... Dr. Japers quickly exits the house. His former companion whimpers and looks at its hands as he leaves. Dr. Japers. It does taste rather tart. How much? I've done nothing but lied for 3 days. Well, that is the end of SCP Protocol 4000 ESHU. You need a peanut jig of your own, yes. What you need is a peanut jig of your own, yes. I really liked that. I think... I see why you did. That one was a big brain read. I wouldn't have caught most of it. What do you think of it, though? I wouldn't have caught most of it without your help, so I really appreciate that. That was a very interesting one. It was difficult, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you really have to pay attention, because they'll just swap things around and act like it's normal. Without anything to tell you. Like, most stories kind of make it a bit clearer, but this really requires your full attention. It's as if it was swapped in idea, in world, but not in text, so they kind of subtly imply that. But I see now where, one of the things that should have made that clear to me was when, quote, Dr. Japers, unquote, said, no. He wasn't talking like himself. And as we saw earlier, the rabbit is the one that will say no multiple times in a sentence. So, yeah, that was kind of on me. But it's also further proves what I said, that you do need to really pay attention to it. he became a sus imposter amongst us. 2026. But yeah, it was a good story. I liked it a lot, and thank you for recommending it to me. Maybe if I narrate stuff again on the next stream, I'll try and get through most of them except NES Godzilla, because NES Godzilla is like really freaking long. Unless you meant like a specific part or two from it. But like NES Godzilla, what do you like? NES Godzilla was like full streams. I think the full narration was like 3 hours or something from someone else. As for SCPs, yeah, sure, I'd be open to it. And this is all just for funsies. So, I'm perfectly okay with reading more SCPs. And I trust your taste not to just choose like redacted slot. I know you won't do that, so yeah, I'm alright with it. They do be pretty funsies. Yeah, like thank you. I'm glad you feel that way as well. Honestly, I've been kind of enjoying this. It's taxing on my voice and my throat and my lungs, but I'm okay with it because it means I can do something other than just playing video games. Because in all honesty, something I said earlier, back when I was on the earlier streams of Jurassic Park on SNES, I mean it when I say they take a long time to start. I'm not happy about that with video games. And they're just really freaking long. Like, sure, Jurassic Park kind of started to drag a little, but I think that was in total only 3 streams. But I've been getting tired of how video games from start to finish will take me like 10 streams or more. And it wouldn't be such an issue if I could just stream closer together, but I don't have the schedule that allows that. Or at least I haven't given myself that free time. Maybe I should just put in more effort. But nevertheless, that's a problem I've been feeling for a good long while now. So being able to narrate this stuff is a very welcome change, because it means I get to do something different. I'm really glad. I wish game news were shorter too. Yeah, that's something I like about indies. Honestly, I think they're like a sweet spot between all of the good things about retro games and all of the good things about modern games, where you do still have a full story, a full experience. You have some meat to sink your teeth into, but it's not too long. It doesn't take too long to get started. It's not bloated with like giant open worlds and a bajillion side quests or anything like that. But it's not like indie retro games where it's stupidly hard with difficulty that feels like it's practically padded out by the... Like, it's got a length that's practically padded out by its difficulty. So it's easily digestible. I've seen people... Oh, no, I don't want to bring that topic up. It was about that some people think indie games are slop, but like, right or wrong, part of me also thinks it's just kind of a rage bait topic. Like, yeah, they're slop, but, you know, okay, and so is everything else. But anyway. Well, so is like the majority of most other entertainment media. That's not new. It just kind of comes off like people who want to try to be come off as intellectual and different. But anyway. But yeah, that's something I've been enjoying about indie games, but it feels like even those take a long time for me. It's very clear that it's abundantly clear to me that it's a scheduling problem. But as I said before, regardless of the issue, this is a much needed change for me. So, I've said this before, but I really can't say it enough, that I'm very happy and grateful that you and anyone else has been willing to come along to these streams, because I needed this change, and like really badly. Because I've been getting very tired of video games taking so long. But again, scheduling issue. But man, am I jealous of VTubers that get to stream full time. Like, wow. Imagine. And that's how they make their money. That. Oh my goodness. What does it take to get to that kind of level? Hardcore nepotism, probably. My pleasure. Well, even so, thank you very much. I feel similar to you. Yeah, especially with like AAA games. Oh my goodness. Well, granted, maybe I shouldn't talk too much smack about AAA games, but I don't know. I just don't like what I see in them. They're so long, you know? They all want to be the next big open world. They want to give you a whole lot to sink your teeth into for the, well, probably more like $70 now that you paid, or whatever currency. And that's good and all, but for me, it just doesn't match what I need. It doesn't meet my needs, which is something that I can, oh, I don't know, not be stuck on for more than 2 months. Like, I got a channel I gotta keep up here. I got stuff I gotta do. I don't want to be playing a game for like half a year, because don't get me wrong, I liked Sonic Frontiers a lot. I liked Control a lot. But I was on both of those games for a long time. I don't want to make that the norm. That's why I'm a little hesitant now to stream Zelda games. Because I want to. I love Zelda. But Wind Waker, let's be honest, is going to take forever. Ocarina of Time may be less so, but still might take a very good long while, even if I'm moving. Imagine if I was playing Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Those would take even longer. Which is why I have no intention of streaming them, because they are long AF. I want to finish RCG, but I need the motivation time for it. What was RCG again? River City Girl. Oh, right, River City Girls. Yeah. It can drag. It feels like a lot of games can drag. I guess it's just a part of the problem that comes with growing up. Is that you just don't have the same time you used to anymore. But, you know, it's still frustrating. But, nevertheless, I've enjoyed the change I've made. I'm, really happy with how I get to just not feel forced to play some of these things. Play some of the games I've been playing. I don't feel forced to, just like I'm dragging my feet on something that's taking super duper long. I just feel more comfortable this way. From now on, probably, like, I'm probably gonna be mainly streaming indie games, because they're shorter, and I like them. But, I think that's about all I have to say for this stream. And for some reason, I'm letting myself get distracted by Fat Girl Goon. Like, oh my goodness, do the Japanese know how to draw fat women, right? Oh... I hope you can finish our River City Girls, though. If you don't mind me asking, why the motivation issue? Has it been taking too long? Or was it, like, really hard? Ugh. You know, one thing I hate that I gotta do every time I use Pixiv is that I always feel obligated to every time I find a good artist, I feel obligated to look through their stuff and see if they've drawn NTR. And if they have, then I don't follow them. But the problem is they very often have. I'm not thrilled about that by any means. I hate that fetish so much. No one comes to the stream and I don't have much to talk during it. That's what the motivation issue is, but oh well. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to really get some consistent viewers. You have to advertise yourself. May I suggest doing so on Twitter? But I'd suggest other avenues first, like Reddit, or making like funny clips on, I don't know, TikTok or Instagram. Well, maybe not Instagram, because people are really mean on there. So TikTok, and like there's other sites you can use. I'd recommend those. Twitter, I would say, is the last resort. But that's what I've heard people can do. Oh, Reddit. You can do that on Reddit too. Yeah, that's what I would recommend. That's what I've seen some people recommend, is that you can advertise yourself on multiple other sites. It doesn't just have to be Twitter. I'll try. I hope it goes well. If it's more than one site, you know, hopefully things will be okay. People are relatively nice on Reddit, I think. So that one might be a good place to start first, but don't just take my word for it. So it could be wrong. I also don't do this self-advertising thing very much, mainly because fame is terrifying to me. But that's gonna be it. Was there anything else you felt you wanted to say? Because I'm about to end the stream at the moment. I'll try. I wanted to say Happy Easter and Oyasumi. Yes, Happy Easter to you too. I don't lie, I've been so out of it. I pay so little attention to holidays that I forget about them entirely. But yes, Happy Easter to you too, and thank you for coming along to the stream. Oyasumi. Please sleep well, and we'll see what next week's stream is. Maybe I'll stream Star Fox Adventures after all, or just more creepypasta narration. We'll see. But yeah, big sister, have a good night. Yes, to me. And thank you for coming.